Hello and welcome to Advanced Discernment. Okay, now before we get started, I want you to pause this video and go and test your accuracy rate so you can find out where it is now. You can do this by taking two pieces of paper, writing down two different things like star and butterfly on each paper, and then put them in a hat, pick one, and set it aside and just do that 10 different times so you can see what your accuracy of what you got correct out of 10. Okay, now this is a very simple concept. It's simple to do and anybody can do it no matter what their psychic level is. If you have psychic abilities online or if your psychic abilities have not come online whatsoever. It's extremely effective and has completely changed the game for me as far as being able to discern between yes and no questions or this or that. One thing that I've noticed that really helps bring up my accuracy rates is purification of the body. So some of you guys are going to be highly sensitive and more sensitive than others. So for some of you guys, you might still have high accuracy rates and still be able to have things like coffee or processed foods. Some people are going to be so sensitive, they're going to find that their accuracy rate rises and lowers depending on the purity of their vessel. You'll know. Say you start practicing and you find that you're fine. Your accuracy rate stays at a good level and it's not affected by caffeine or by outside, anything else. Some of you guys might find that you're extremely sensitive and it does. So if you hone this practice and you find that one day your accuracy rate was high and then the next it was low and you're wondering why, it usually always points to what you're putting into your body. So be aware of that, and if you need to adjust that, you'll know that that's directly connected and that will help bring your numbers and your accuracy rate up. Now, as far as psychic discernment goes, this is something that I have been extremely dedicated to figuring out for a very, very long period of time. My gifts came online 26 years ago. I started as a clairaudient, and then my guides, I went to vision. I did do tarot for a while before that, but once my visions came online, I stepped away from tarot and just did it through psychic vision. Now, when I started really coming into my awakening and seeing clearly through psychic vision, I started noticing that I was getting two different messages. I would test myself with numbers rigorously to see what my accuracy rate was. And I started noticing that I was getting the right answer as well as the decoy answer. And I was like, how the heck do I figure this out? How do I troubleshoot this? So I went to all the best psychics that I could think of, that I knew. I asked them, and the only thing I ended up learning was that they were having the exact same problem I was. Nobody really had the answer. And one night, I stumbled upon the answer. And this was after, like I said, years of testing myself and trying to troubleshoot how to do it. It was to the point to where I was like, I thought I cracked the code, and then something would switch tiny bit, and then it would be like, oh my God, not quite. So this recent up level of being able to master discernment has really skyrocketed my accuracy rates. 3 different times I've been able to correctly divine 18 out of 20 numbers. That's 90%. I'm able to go 6 for 6 one day, 4 for 5 another day. So such a high, it's so simple in concept, yet it took years of practice for me to stumble upon this and for something to work as accurately as this does. And the beauty about this is you don't have to be, like I said, you don't have to be psychically skilled in order to do it. So let's get into it. Find a quiet place. Lie down and relax your body completely so you're in a state of peace. You want to make sure your body's not in pain. You want to make sure that you are not having heavy emotions or anxiety, but you feel pretty good and you're in a state of peace. Now we're going to work with the heart first, and you can use this on the heart, the stomach, or the body. Now, ask your heart, dear heart, what does yes feel like? And just observe. Don't try to do anything to try to make it happen. Just observe. What does yes feel like? Feel into it. Then ask, okay, dear heart, what does no feel like? You might notice a tiny little like tightening or clenching. Now go back and forth about 10 to 15 times. Pause this video and ask that back and forth about 10 to 15 times. What does no feel like? What does yes feel like? You'll start to see a pattern. It'll start to be obvious which one's yes and which one's no. Now your body is highly intuitive, so your body actually does know the answer, which is quite remarkable. It's the best filter that we have. You know, tarot readings can be off, pendulums can be off, dowsing rods can be off. We can get mixed messages through signs, even out in the, I'm asking for a sign, show me a butterfly or show me a peacock, and you'll see, that can be manipulated. This is the closest thing I've ever found to being 100% accurate. So go back and forth. Then ask yourself, when you feel like you've got it good, ask yourself a question that you don't mind the answer to. Like, what kind of, is this shampoo that I'm using healthy for me? And just observe, all you're really looking for here is, did I get one over the other? Did it feel like yes, or did it feel like no? After that, go back to picking out of the hat and write down what your score is between, out of 10. You'll find that your accuracy rates start going up pretty quickly, almost instantly. Now, the thing about the heart is a muscle. So the heart can get fatigued. You can't do it too many times because it'll start to clench up. And you'll know when that happens when you ask yes or no and you're not getting any differentiation, or you're asking yes or no and it's just tightening every time. And this is where I started learning to use different parts of my body. So go to the stomach and do the exact same process. Ask yes or no many times, back and forth, before you even start. Then try it with something you're not emotionally attached to the answer to. Then, again, test it 10, best out of 10. Now, one thing that really helps me is that each time that I sit down to do this, I always ask, what does yes feel like and what does no feel like? No matter how many times I've done it before, because you always have to get a test of what your body feels like that time. Sometimes I'll ask, what does yes feel like? What does no feel like? A bunch of times when I'm asking one question in between, so I can still get that feeling to get me back set. Another trick is to not assume. Assumption can get the best of you. Like if you ask your friend, pick between a peach and a pear, and you're assuming they picked pear, that can get the best of you. So don't assume, and give yourself a lot of time. Like sometimes, take an hour to pick. The more time you take, the higher your accuracy rate is going to be. And then I always throw the first one out. Each time I do it, I'll ask, whatever the first one I ask, I always throw that one out, because sometimes when you first start, you can get a little bit of anxiety or your body can react. And then go back and forth at least 5 times between yes and no before you get settled on your answer. Now, the third one is doing it with your body. And it's very similar to the other, but I'm going to pause here and continue that in the next video.